Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Hey, good morning, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X. I hope everyone's having an incredible start to their day. Now, we've got a loaded day out there on the ice, so we're going to go over, like always, each and every single one of these games, picks, props, and predictions, and then we will do the recap and the round robin at the end of the show. So let's jump straight into it, you guys. We're going to kick it off with the St. Louis Blues taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, we've got a lot of 5.5s today. This is one of those games with that 5.5. The juice to the 5.5 is coming to the over. Right now on FanDuel, the over 5.5 is coming in at minus 134. I do expect some goals between these two, because we look here at this matchup, and I think it starts off fast with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa has been playing strong. They've won their last 3. We looked at fading them in that couple situations at the last game of the road trip there versus Seattle. It just didn't pay off for us. We've seen a struggling kill here also for the St. Louis Blues, which is concerning against the power play here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm looking for the Tampa Bay Lightning to get off to a fast start in this one. They've been able to win the last 7 first periods at home. I'm going to take the puck line here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Minus a half a goal in the first period on that puck line, coming in at plus 130. Now, that being said, I don't think the St. Louis Blues get blown away in this game. But you guys, I'm always looking for those live betting opportunities, because right now that puck line is just out of my price. Laying or grabbing the 1.5 here with the St. Louis Blues is minus 148. So I can't grab them on the puck line. I think it's a 1-goal game at the end of the day, so I can't lay the puck line for the full game here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I do think at the end of the day, if we have the Lightning go up in that first period, as we expect, cash us that puck line at plus 130 in the first period, then we're going to be able to come back in on the St. Louis Blues plus 1.5 for so much better value. So that's where I'm going to be looking. I would look at Jordan Kyrou. He's been so strong as of late, been putting up those goals, lighting the lamp. It seems the last 4 or 5 games out there, he's been able to light the lamp. So Jordan Kyrou is your playmaker for the St. Louis Blues. And we can't deny Jake Guentzel here of the Tampa Bay Lightning with how strong he has been out there on the ice. You've also got Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point. I like your value you're getting on Braden Point. Someone else that you can look at out there. So we will do the round robin of the players at the end of the show, but those are your playmakers I would look at. If you look at Kucherov, 14 goals with 33 assists, so 47 points on the season here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Braden Point has the 21 points, 16 assists. So he has been nice and strong as well. But you look at Braden Point on that power play, and we talked about the St. Louis Blues' lack of ability to kill them off. The power play is clicking at such a high percentage here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Braden Point has 11 goals and 5 assists on that power play. So the power play point's definitely in play for him today. Robert Thomas has been strong for the St. Louis Blues as well. He has 6 goals and 17 assists on the year. So he's on that top line with Jake Neighbors. We do see Jordan Kyrou on that second line there. So he's definitely one of your top playmakers. Let's jump into the next matchup here. We have the New Jersey Devils, you guys, taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now looking at this matchup, current odds on FanDuel, you've got a $2 favorite here in the New Jersey Devils. We've got the Columbus Blue Jackets, the home dog. Are they barking here tonight? Well, I would love to say the Columbus Blue Jackets are barking, but I can't get behind this team. They are plus 180 if you want to take a chance. They have been stronger in some of these situations. Plus 1.5 on that puck line. I do like them at home, but the plus 1.5 on the puck line is minus 140. We have a total of 6.5. Now that is just slightly to that under. The problem here is what we've seen out of Jacob Markstrom. Jacob Markstrom for Columbus. Jacob Markstrom has been phenomenally hot this season. And when we look at him on the road versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, those numbers are outstanding. 4-2 in 6 games in Columbus with a 1.87 goals against average and a 941 save percentage. So thinking the Columbus Blue Jackets can come in and rattle Markstrom is a lot to ask. And then can they keep up with this offense? The Columbus Blue Jackets don't have the offense to keep up with the Devils. And with the Devils having Markstrom in net, I do think this is a tough one for Columbus, even on their home ice. We look at Elvis here. He's got a .914 save percentage versus Devils. So he's been able to stand nice and tall, 3-3 and 2 in 8 games versus them. Weak kill here again for Columbus, and we've got the second best power play in the league here for the New Jersey Devils. So I do think we're going to see Columbus struggle, and I think they're going to struggle in the way that they're just not going to be able to score. Now, what will their defense be able to do? Will Elvis be able to have a stronger game? Those are question marks for me. I don't think their defense will be able to slow down Jack Hughes and company in this one. And I don't think they're going to be able to score. So I'm going to target the team total here of the Columbus Blue Jackets under 2.5 goals. If they score, I don't think they score more than 2 goals on Jacob Markstrom. So the under 2.5 is -110 here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. You look at Jacob Markstrom in he's won his last 4 of his last 5 starts. He's been so hot, 16, 6, and 1 this season with a 2.24 goals against average and a .909 save percentage. So I'm counting on him to stand tall between the pipes, really limit Columbus out here. We know Monahan has been a huge playmaker for this team, but I do think this is one, even though 8-4-3 at home this season, that they have these struggles. Now, when we look at the New Jersey Devils, they have won their last 3 games. Tuesday, they were able to get that win over the St. Louis Blues. That was 4-1. So now facing Columbus here, who's lost their last 5. Columbus has really been struggling out there, you guys. They lost Tuesday to the Lightning 5-3. I think defense and goaltending will get the Devils the win in this one. They've also won the last 3, so they have that recency versus them and 7 of their last 10. So I like their ability to play a strong defensive game as well as put some goals here on Columbus. Now, when we look at those trends to the under, really strong trends to the under, you guys, I do think I'm kind of nervous with taking the full game under because of the Devils' ability to rack up those goals. If Elvis has a bad night here, I can't do it. But when we look at Columbus to the under, in their last 9 games, they've scored a total of 20 goals. So that's averaging under 2 goals a game. I just can't think that they can score more than or 3 or more goals in this one. Jace, a good morning to you. Happy Thursday. I can't believe it's already Thursday, you guys. Countdown to Christmas is on. Let's talk the LA Kings. The LA Kings facing the Philadelphia Flyers. Now the Flyers, another home dog. We got a couple home dogs on today's slate. The Flyers coming in here at +138, -166 for the Kings. I like the Kings, but you guys know I don't like that money line. Can they cover the puck line tonight? Laying 1.5 at +152 is a question mark. Total of 5.5 with the juice on the 5.5 to the under. Now, the under is kind of nerve-wracking for me as well because we know this Kings team can open up. We've got a backup goaltender in here for the Flyers, and the Flyers off that game last night to the Red Wings. They lost that game. They're going to come in here with a little bit of extra want to win. Tortorella was all upset. I didn't even catch what that was. I just saw him screaming at the TV. Something about the refs, something about a call. He did not like it. I meant to look it up this morning as I was flicking games and didn't see exactly what that was. But they're going to come in with this fire here at home. The problem is this team absolutely struggles on the second night of a back-to-back, especially when sort of sitting in this like pick 'em underdog situation. I can't trust the Flyers in this one. This game screams 2-1 win here, and I think the LA Kings are who is able to get the win. The problem here is you got -166 here for the LA Kings on the money line, which I don't love. I can't lay that kind of juice. I think you just look at this under. I think you look at ulting this under unless you just want to isolate the Flyers, which I think is probably the better way to go because if anyone's going to score, it's going to be the Kings and they're going to push us over. It could be a 4-1 game for the Kings with the win, or the Kings could win in 2-1 game, or they could get that 5th goal because of an empty netter because we know Tortorella will pull goaltending at any time. So it will be really interesting to see here. The Flyers to the under are strong to that under. The last 27 meetings between these two teams, 17-7-3 to the under. The under is also 9-2-3 in the last 14 meetings in Philadelphia. So we have seen those strong trends to the under there. I will just take the Flyers team total under 2.5. I think it's the best way to go. It's coming in at -122. And you have seen the Flyers in their last 16 games as a dog on the second night of back-to-back lose all 16 of them. So a nice fade spot. Can the Kings cover, though? They probably covered that puck line. I do think so, unless it's that 2-1 game. I'm hoping for a 3-1 game. The Kings are 9-3 in their last 12 meetings in Philadelphia, and we've also seen the road team win the last 4. So if there is a situation where the Flyers go up in this and you're getting better value on the Kings, I would look for the Kings to come back in this game and get the win. Let's talk the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins are taking on the Nashville Predators. We know the Preds were able to get that nice win over the Rangers, breaking their losing streak. This team has been having their struggles out there, but they shut down the Rangers. They put up 2 goals. So low-scoring battle there between the Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins rolling in here. Off the win versus the Kings in OT. They got a beautiful win versus the Kings. 3-2. I would have expected that when I saw that game go to overtime, I would have thought the Kings would have got it done. I can't believe the Pittsburgh Penguins were the team to rise above in that one. So great win for them. Tristan Jarry expected in net for them tonight, and Saros expected here for the Nashville Predators. The Preds have the Kings on deck on Saturday and then the Canes on Monday. Now, when we look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, their last 2 games have gone to OT. They had an OT loss to the Senators and an OT win over the Kings, both of those finishing in 3-2. So this team has been playing in those low-scoring games, even though they have been going to overtime. 2-2 games going into OT seem like the best, especially when you had that under, you had the under 5.5, and it's such a sweat getting there. But it is so nice when you're able to cash those. I just can't trust the Pittsburgh Penguins as a dog following an overtime win. It hasn't been a strong situation for this team as a dog following an overtime win. They have lost their last 13, and I think the Predators, even though they haven't had the strong record this season, will build momentum off that win versus the Rangers. So I'm going to look here at them here at home. Yes, this team's sitting 8th in the Metro. They're 6-7-2 at home. The road record, though, you got to bet the Preds when they're at home. They're 3-10-4 on the road this season. So when we look at those lines again, there's just not the value there for the Nashville Predators. The Predators are minus 162. You'd have to bet them in regulation if you want to take them here. It's kind of nerve-wracking with how we've seen the Penguins be able to push these games to overtime. I think the overtime probably comes into play in this one. It's plus 310 on the overtime bet. The total's sitting here at 5.5. I still think it's going to be that 2-2 style game going to OT. The under has hit in the last 6 meetings between these two. And we've also seen the under hit in 4 of the last 5 in Nashville. So I'm expecting goaltending to stand up on both sides. We know both of these teams have had those struggles at playing high scoring games. The Pittsburgh Penguins have had those issues in net. We know that, but the Predators haven't been that offensive team that I'm not terrified will push this game to the over. Now, Roman Josi has been absolute fire. He has scored the first goal at home in 3 of the last 4 games. So I do think you look at Roman Josi for the goal tonight here, back on the ice for the Nashville Predators. I love his ability to come out strong. The home team between these two also has won 16 of the last 21 meetings. So major home ice advantage. I think it's a fade the Pens, stay on the Predators kind of bet, which we know is scary because we look at this team and we look at their struggles as of late. They haven't been able to hold on to leads either. So if you want to look at the Preds in the first period, I don't blame you there as well. I think it would be another solid way to go, but this is going to be a lower scoring game. Kings in reg. Yeah, you could look at the Kings in regulation. I don't hate the Kings in regulation, Rob. I think they're able to get the win. I was flirting with the puck line because, you know, I like plus money. That is for sure. But I think you can also look at the Flyers. Just look at their team total under the 2.5. They score 1 or 2 goals in this game. I don't see them scoring more. So it depends on how many goals the LA Kings are going to put up tonight in this game. And when we look at them, they have the Preds on the road on Saturday, the Caps on Sunday. So they do have a doubleheader coming up. Do they lay off in the third period and just play keep away? We know this Kings can do so. So I think regulation is solid. I'm going to sprinkle on the puck line, even though I think it's an underscoring game. Let's look at Seattle. Okay, we're going to do Seattle versus Chicago here. Let me just pull up the lines. Okay, so the Seattle Kraken are rolling in as the favorite versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago, another home dog here tonight at plus 118. And I tell you guys, I looked at today's slate. I always love home underdogs, and I'm struggling to get on these dogs today. The Chicago Blackhawks at plus 118 just doesn't hold enough value for me versus the Seattle Kraken. The Kraken at minus 142 Also, not something I want to bet. I would be looking at the Kraken in reg if I'm liking the Kraken here today. Now, this total sitting at 5.5. We have the majority of the juice, but it's not very much, at minus 112 to the over 5.5. Seattle's defense has been playing nice and solid out there, but it's interesting to see when these teams match up. We end up seeing higher scoring games. Now, I expect Seattle to be able to score on Sonderblom. It's if Chicago will be able to come out and put enough goals on Joey Decord to push this game to the over. Now, you look at Chicago, they are coming off that win on Tuesday versus the Washington Capitals. Impressive win. They were able to put up 3 goals in that game. I think they bring some momentum into that. Now, the Seattle Kraken have lost their last 2. So I think they're going to give up some goals here in this one as well. They got completely shut out by the Senators. So you know that this team offensively is going to come with fire. And we have seen this matchup. Mid-November, we saw Seattle get a 3-1 win. I'm expecting a couple more goals out of the Chicago Blackhawks here. The problem is their team total. I'm not getting enough value. I looked at the over 2.5 goals here for the Chicago Blackhawks. It's minus 126. So I don't want to jump on that. I looked at the Kraken's team total. Again, I'm having to lay more juice than I want to lay. We've seen the Kraken be strong versus Chicago. Now, they have been able to win 5 of the last 6, but we've seen the home team really dominate. The home team has won the last 5. I can't get behind Chicago at this price, but I can't get behind Seattle at this price either. I think the best bet is looking at the over 5.5. Yes, it's minus 112 to the over 5.5, but these teams have trended to that over. I expect Seattle to put 4 goals up on the board for us. So can Chicago put 2? I think Chicago can definitely put 2. They could put 3 as well, really pushing us over that total. But over 5.5 at minus 112 will be the way I'm going to go. Chicago in games where they've been a home dog, we've seen that trend to the over as well. 5 of the last 6 going to that over. And the majority of the time is because they give up those goals. But I do expect them to put up some here, especially when they're able to get 2 on the Capitals in the last game. Kev, good morning and happy Thursday. Can't believe it's already Thursday, you guys. The week is absolutely flying. Let's look at the Boston Bruins versus the Edmonton Oilers. Now, this matchup is kicking off at 9:09 Eastern tonight. We have the Boston Bruins rolling into Edmonton as the dog at plus 150. Lines are moving quickly on this. Now, Boston has been so solid in Edmonton, but this is the last game of a road trip. A really hard spot for me to jump on the Boston Bruins, especially when they were able to get the win over Calgary. And I was at that game, you guys, and I was actually really surprised at it wasn't as fast as some games that I've seen Calgary and Boston play in before. It looked a little bit slower, even though we saw a higher scoring game, even though we saw some beautiful plays, just a couple of steps behind what you would see if it would have been Edmonton on the ice. And that says a lot for when Boston now has to face Edmonton. Edmonton is so strong offensively. Edmonton is so solid at home. I really struggled to see the Boston Bruins team with what it's looking like right now to be able to get the win. Now, they were able to get the win in overtime versus my Calgary Flames. It was kind of painful, but it was a great betting day. You guys know that we had Elias Lindholm for his point that came in nicely and cashed, and we had a bunch of props on the other side. So it was a solid day. We were able to see Dustin Wolf in net as well, but the Bruins, they're allowing those goals on the road, left, right, and center. Calgary was able to put them up on them, allowing those 3. And we've got Swayman expected here. I still don't completely trust Swayman. I think we're going to see Edmonton dominate this game. Their kill has been better as of late for Edmonton, so they've got to continue to bring that here. These 2 teams, I think they're going to be a little scrappy out there tonight. I think the fists are going to be flying. We didn't see that versus Calgary, and we know Brad Marchand and Zach Hyman, I'm betting those 2 go at it tonight. Now, Edmonton's just a better team, 5-on-5 on the power play. I trust in them. 3rd in the Pacific right now. And you guys know it pains me to say Edmonton is a better team, but they're 9-7-1 at home. They are off that tough loss to the Florida Panthers on Monday night. It was a crazy game, 6-5 style game. Edmonton came out flying, but the Florida Panthers were able to one-up them in that game. Now, Edmonton definitely wants to get back on the win chart. And we normally see these teams versus each other in lower scoring battles, you guys. But I think this one starts off hot in the first period, especially with Edmonton off that loss. Boston rolling in here knowing that they have to hit Skinner rattle Skinner, and that's their best way of winning, is rattling Skinner. They've got to try to keep up here with the Edmonton Oilers, because at the end of the day, their defense won't be able to slow down the offense here of Edmonton. So first period over 1.5, I like. I also like both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 180. So it's just finding those odds for you. I think both teams get up nice and hot. Now, at the end of the day, Edmonton wins and covers the puck line. So if Boston scores first in this one, you know I'm coming right back in on Edmonton with whatever I'm getting on that money line. But I can't see it. I'm sure Edmonton scores first, and then the Boston Bruins somehow answer back. But I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping for that live betting situation. I think Edmonton covers the full game puck line, laying 1.5 at plus 136. Again, I won't touch the first period because I think it goes over 1.5 and both teams score. And then I'm going to look at Edmonton for over 3.5 goals at minus 102. Again, these teams do trend to that under when they face up versus each other, but I could see this being a 4-1 win here for the Edmonton Oilers. Even though I don't have that faith in Skinner, my problem here is I really do think once Edmonton gets up in this game, they're going to lock down. Their offense is so potent and they'll hit Swayman. So I'm not touching full game total. Elias Lindholm has been phenomenally strong versus the Edmonton Oilers. You can look at him as a playmaker here for Boston. And Hyman looks unstoppable out there for the Edmonton Oilers. So those will be my playmakers that I will be circling in tonight's matchup, you guys. Vinny, happy Thursday to you and everyone else out there. Pasternak, you know you got to look at Pasta for the point as well. Again, Boston's won the last 4 in Edmonton, so if you want to take a chance on the road dog here, definitely going to give you the value. The road teams also won the last 8 matchups straight, but I look here at the Boston Bruins. This is the last leg of a road trip. Edmonton has been rested. Edmonton hasn't played since what? Since Monday. I think they're going to bring the fire tonight, especially frustrated off that game. And then you have their look-ahead schedule. They have the Sharks on Saturday, the Sens on Sunday. So they've got 2 nights of back-to-back. Maybe they have that letdown versus the Sharks. Maybe they don't. Tyler Toffoli coming up to Edmonton will be interesting to see, as he played for Calgary for a long time as well. The Ottawa Senators taking on the Calgary Flames. I wish I was going to tonight's game. I love seeing the Sens all in action. Allmark will be in net for them tonight, and he has been so freaking hot, you guys. Can the Calgary Flames score on Allmark? That is the biggest question, because Dan Vladar is expected with Wolf getting the last start, and I do think the Ottawa Senators, with how strong this team can be offensively, will be able to score on Vladar. Total of 5.5, minus 110 to either way of this over. I'm looking at overtime in this one, you guys. The overtime bet is coming in at, I believe it was plus 350. Yeah, it's plus 310. It's dropped down to plus 310. So I think overtime is quite possible between these teams. The Ottawa Senators coming in here at minus 140 on the money line, plus 116 for the Calgary Flames. Now, you got team totals on both sides. Can Calgary score on Allmark? That is the biggest question. The last 2 meetings versus Calgary, Allmark has allowed 3 goals in both of those meetings. So if you want to look at Calgary's team total, over 2.5 goals here for the Calgary Flames to continue to be able to get a minimum of 3 goals on him is coming in at minus 118. Dan Vladar expected here for the Calgary Flames, and he had a shutout versus the Senators a couple seasons ago. I believe it was like 2021. Maybe it was 2022. No, I think it was 2021. He was able to get 4-0 shutout win. I remember that one because I was at that game. It was phenomenal, strong game for him out there. But with how teams have been scoring as of late on him, I do think the Sens team total is worth a look. Their team total coming in at 3.5. You're getting plus money at plus 106. Now, my fear here is we go 3-3 into OT and then something happens. Calgary gets that puck luck, which, you know, I'd love to see, and they get the win, but then we lose on the team total of the Ottawa Senators. So I'm kind of cautious with that because Ottawa hasn't had a good time playing in Calgary. In the last 20 meetings in Calgary, they've gone 6-14. So not strong trends for them. We also have the home team winning the last 5 meetings between these two. The favorite, though, coming out on top, winning the last 4. I'm going to put the slight edge edge to the Calgary Flames in this one just because they get last change, but Allmark is a strength in net. They just have to find a way to hit Allmark, and that's why I'm looking here at that team total over 2.5 at -118. I do think if you just want to take this game to the over, ultimately at the end of the day, we go over that 5.5, and I love the overtime bet. I don't think it's 2-2 going to overtime. I think it's 3-3 going into OT, you guys. So we got a good one on the board in this matchup for sure. The Vancouver Canucks next take on the Vegas Golden Knights. And I do think we have a road dog here in the Vancouver Canucks. They're coming in at +146 on the money line. We got -176 for the Vegas Golden Knights and a total sitting solid at 5.5. The 5.5 is -118 to the over right now, -104 to the under. And I know an under 5.5 is terrifying with how these offenses can be, but I do think this one stays under the total of 5.5. I'm looking for Vancouver to come out and dominate, though. The Vancouver Canucks have been so phenomenally strong out there on the road. Their road record 10-2-2. They're on their second night of a back-to-back. They're off the loss versus Utah, and I know Vegas has that rest advantage. They're off a win versus the Minnesota Wild 3-2. On Sunday on the road. So they're returning home from that road trip. It is Thursday. They've had a while at home, probably a while to run some errands for Christmas shopping, maybe get their minds out of the game a little bit. And that's what I'm counting on here. The Vancouver Canucks, they've won 3 of the last 4 meetings in Vegas. They've come in, they've played strong. We also don't have Jack Eichel said the Vegas flu for some of these teams. He loves playing teams that have come in the day before. They played Utah last night. There was no time between then and this game for this team to have a night on the town, not at least in my opinion. Let's say got out last night as they landed after playing Utah. But that was a late game versus Utah. So I just don't see it happening. So give me the under 5.5 and get this one. Give me Vancouver to continue to roll hot in Vegas on that money line with that plus money. And last but not least, the most interesting matchup of the day, the Colorado Avalanche versus the San Jose Sharks. I am so excited for this freaking game. You have the goaltenders have switched teams. You guys, you've got Blackwood expected here for Colorado, who was just with Chicago or with San Jose. He got traded for Georgiev. So they went back and forth. So Georgiev now here with the San Jose Sharks was originally with Colorado. So who is going to get the win? I know who's going to get the win. I need a sip of coffee. Just give me 1 sec. The voice is going today, you guys. It's because I was at the Flames game and I was screaming on Tuesday night. So we got Mackenzie Blackwood coming in here for the Colorado Avalanche. Georgiev here for the San Jose Sharks. Blackwood coming back into the building. Give me Blackwood. Give me Blackwood all day to stand on his freaking head in this game. Now, we know Tyler Toffoli, Celebrini have been hot out there, but the Sharks have lost the last 2. And you know I don't like betting against the Sharks, but I just cannot see a path where Colorado just does not steamroll over the San Jose Sharks tonight. They have won the last 10 meetings as well. They got a win in October 4-1. And I think in this one, you just take everything here on Blackwood for a shutout. You look at the Avs on the puck line -1.5 at -102. Alt puck line -2.5 for the Colorado. I don't know why I want to keep saying Chicago. Chicago just had to be said so I could get it out of my mouth, you guys. I don't know if you guys ever do that. There's some times where it's like this word, it just needs to come out. But let's look at those alt puck lines here because that's where I'm going to be going with Colorado. So laying the 1.5 on the puck lines -111. I'm going to lay 2.5 on the puck line with Colorado at +164. And I'm going to lay 3.5 at +400. I'm going to put a third of a unit on all of those. I think Colorado comes out and dominates the Sharks in this one. I think it's a super big night here for them. Cale Makar, I'm going to look at those power play points as well. Cale Makar has scored in the last 3 games in San Jose. So I'm looking for him to get on the board tonight. Georgiev versus his former team. I know he would love that revenge angle, especially he's got to be the goalie that feels more slated. He's the goalie from the better team being sent to another team that is giving up their hot goaltender for him just so, because they're kind of rebuilding, right? Like, so you look at that, what they were able to get out of that trade, and I just go, Man, Georgiev is more slated, but Blackwood definitely wanting to impress. The Sharks team total is another way to look. The Sharks team total under 2.5 goals at -126. I like as well. Now, the scary thing about the Sharks is they've been fighting, and you guys know I love this team. They covered the puck line in their last 5 at home. So that definitely is a scary situation when you look at it, but I think we should be able to see the Abs just dominate. Of course, the best bet is not alting it. It's just looking at the Abs on that puck line. But you guys know I love that plus money, and we'll go there. Okay, that is all of today's games. Let's do the recap. Let's build the round robin. I hope everyone's Thursday is going fantastic. Think of me tonight when my Chargers are in action. I'm probably losing to the Broncos. It will be painful. Will my money be somewhere? My money will be on a couple things. So stay tuned for the Madden Quickie for that, for my best bets in tonight's matchup. The Cup of Joe will also be out here shortly, but let's do these games on the ice. We'll build the round robin, do the best bets, and send you guys on your day. And if you can hit that like button, hit that retweet button, I would so greatly appreciate it. So let's jump into it now. You guys, the St. Louis Blues are taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the Blues can keep this tight, +1.5 on that puck line, but it's too juicy at -148. I'm looking for the Tampa Bay Lightning to go up in the first period, hit Binghamton right out of the gate, and cover the first period puck line, laying a half a goal. That's coming in at +130. They've been able to win the last 7 first periods here at home. Once they go up, if it plays out the way I'm hoping for, I'm going to come back in on the St. Louis Blues +1.5 at a better value, because I do think at the end of the day, it is a 1-goal game. Now, Jordan Kyrou, I'm looking to come out nice and strong. He's been able to score a goal in the last 5 games here for the St. Louis Blues, and Jake Guentzel's just been straight fire. You can't deny him. You could look at Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point. I love Braden Point on the power play. We know it's a weak kill here for the St. Louis Blues. And then Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas, I will look at for the Blues. Jake Neighbors as well. Solid playmakers out there. The New Jersey Devils taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. I like the Columbus Blue Jackets team total under 2.5 goals, coming in at -110. Jacob Markstrom has just been so phenomenal versus Columbus in his career, and he's been rolling so hot for the Devils as of late. The Devils have won the last 3 meetings between these two teams, and 7 of the last 10. I think the Devils get the win. They've got a strong defense. We have a weak kill here for Columbus. Their power play is just so strong and elite here for the Devils. It's the Devils all day. It's just trying to find value. So that's why I'll go with the Columbus's team total under 2.5. You could look at the Canes in regulation as well. The LA Kings versus the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm looking at the Flyers to struggle to score on a Darcy Kemper. Now, Darcy Kemper needs to play way better than we've seen him before versus the Flyers, but I do think he can come out nice and strong in this one. The under 2.5 goals coming in at -122 for the Flyers. This game screams 2-1, but I'm kind of nervous if the Kings just go off in this game and the Flyers defense breaks down. So it screams 2-1. I think you look at the full game under, but I think the best bet is just isolating the Flyers team total to that under. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. The Kings, we know offensively when they open up, can be so strong with Kempe and Kopitar. Kopitar has scored at least 1 goal in each of the Kings' last 3 road games versus the Flyers. So he is your circle there, but these teams strongly trending to that under versus each other. The Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Nashville Predators. Give me the Preds to continue to roll with momentum off their win in their last game out versus the Rangers. The problem is the money line, again, too juicy. I think the under 5.5 is your best way to bet this one. You can also look at the Penguin or the Predators in the first period. They've been strong in the first period. They've been able to get up in these games. The problem with this team, even though they got the win versus the Rangers, you look at their last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, and they get up in the first period and then they blow those leads. So the Preds in the first period on the money line, I like as well. Strong trends to the under between these teams. And Roman Josi, I'm going to be circling him all day to come out nice and strong. Now, he's scored the first goal in 3 of the last 4 games at home for them. I don't know if he gets the first goal tonight, but I will take him for the point, and the anytime goal. We'll include him in the round robin. The Seattle Kraken taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. The Kraken have the edge in this game, but I do think we see some goals. We've seen goals between these two teams. And so looking at Chicago, can they put 3 goals on Seattle? It's a lot to ask because this team isn't scoring a lot of goals. It's also too juicy to the over 2.5. The Kraken's team total is too juicy as well. So I'm going to take the over 3.5. It's coming in at minus 122. 6 of the last 7 meetings. I think the Kraken get it done. In reg. Yeah, I'm going to take them in reg. I was going to say overtime. I'm not playing the overtime in reg. The Boston Bruins versus the Edmonton Oilers. The Bruins off the win over my Calgary Flames in OT. I don't think they're going to be able to slow down Edmonton's potent offense out here. I think Edmonton lights the lamp several times tonight. They got a team total of 3.5. I would take that to the over. I also like Edmonton on the puck line, laying 1.5 goals at plus 136. Now, Pasta has been strong at getting those points for the Bruins, but I also like Hyman here for the Edmonton Oilers to continue to roll hot in this one. Elias Lindholm has been strong versus Edmonton, so that is another playmaker to look at for Boston. But even though Boston has been able to roll into Edmonton, the road ice has been a huge advantage. I'm not buying into it. I don't think they can slow down Edmonton's offense. So that is where I'm going to go with that. The Ottawa Senators taking on the Calgary Flames. I do think this game leans to that over. The question mark is, how is Allmark going to show up in this game? Will he allow what he's allowed to Calgary in the last 2, which is 3 goals? And I think so. I think Calgary is hungry. They're playing with fire there. They're off that just lost to the Boston Bruins. Give me Calgary's team total over 2.5 goals. Vladar has been allowing those goals to come in, you guys, as well. So if you want to look at the Sens team total over 3.5, I like it. My problem here is I think this is an overtime game. 3-3 going to overtime. If Calgary can get that puck luck, then we will see Calgary win this 4-3, and the Ottawa Senators fail to go over their team total. So I think the best bet's Calgary's team total, and then the overtime bet in this. Home ice has been a huge advantage. The Ottawa Senators have struggled in Calgary. The Vancouver Canucks and the Vegas Golden Knights. Give me the dog. The Vancouver Canucks barking here at plus 146 on the money line. This team's won 3 of the last 4 in Vegas, and I do think they can come in to Vegas after Vegas has been out on the road on a long road trip and get the win. Vancouver's just so strong on the road, and like you can expect it here. The hottest goalie on the road this season, sitting 10-0-1 in 11 starts. So I think they can get it done, even though they're on the second night of a back-to-back. I do think the game stays under that total of 5.5. Quinn Hughes has scored at least 1 goal in each of the Canucks' last 3 games against Vegas. So Quinn Hughes would be a nice playmaker to look at there. And then the Colorado Avalanche versus the San Jose Sharks, the most interesting game, I swear, of the freaking night. I love the look of both goaltenders being traded over to the opposite team. Now we've got Blackwood coming back to San Jose, Georgiev facing his old team in his new building. I'm rolling with Colorado. Colorado is such a dominant team, and you guys, I love the Sharks, but I think Colorado can cover the puck line. Laying 1.5 on the puck line at minus 111, all the way up to, I like the 2.5 and the 3.5, laying the 3.5s coming in at plus 400. So third of a unit on each of those. We've seen them win the last 10 meetings over the Sharks. They won in October 4-1. I think the Avs win this 5-2 in this game. You can also isolate the Sharks team total. Just take it to the under 2.5 at minus 126. Blackwood's too hot for this team to be able to hit him. Now, Cale Makar has been able to score versus the Sharks. So Cale Makar is who I will circle. Oh, a mouthful with all of these games. You're going to take the Avs in reg. I'm going to go big. I really do think they can go big tonight, but the Avs in reg definitely going to give you some more value than just straight up. Okay, are you guys ready to build around Robin Parlay? Because I'm already in looking at those puck lines with the Avs. Okay, the Avs, you guys, I really love that power play point for Cale Makar. The power play point for Cale Makar, I don't have a pen that works. Do you guys have that issue, like 50 pens on your desk and none that work? I'm asking Santa for pens because I've only got a red pen that works. Cale Makar for the power play point, I love. He's coming in at plus 230. I would definitely look at Cale Makar for that power play point tonight. I really do think it's coming. I don't trust the Sharks on the kill. Now, we know there's playmakers on the Sharks as well, Tyler Toffoli and Celebrini, but I think they will struggle in this matchup. I think we see the Avs run away with it. So when I'm looking at points out here tonight, it's really hard to jump on those points for Colorado, even though we're doing it in a round robin, because you just don't have the value there. One playmaker I do like, and you guys know if you followed me from the start of the season, is how strong Ross Colton has been for the Avs. And I do think he can come out and get us the point. That's where we're getting value. Like, you can look at Nathan MacKinnon to put in the parlay or round robin, but he's you got to lay 5-1. Rantanen 4-1, Cale Makar just under 3-1. So when we go down to Ross Colton on that top power play, he has every ability to get a point tonight. He's coming in at -111. So I will take Ross Colton here of the Avs for a point for my first leg of the round robin. We're going to go through all of these games. So I will recap it at the end. When we look at the Vancouver Canucks versus Vegas Golden Knights, I'm going to stay off this one, you guys. You know the playmakers I listed in this, but it's scary because I really do think this is a lower scoring game here. And I don't want to trust in anyone on either side. Same, the Ottawa Senators and the Calgary Flames. We could look at a point in this one. Brady Tkachuk always seems to roll in so nice and strong when he rolls into Calgary. Now, Brady Tkachuk off the ice tonight? If Brady Tkachuk is off the ice tonight, Calgary on the money line all day long. Let's stay off this game for the round robin. I think Brady Tkachuk might be out. Looking at Edmonton and the Boston Bruins, I really want to go to the points in this one. I'm going to look at Hyman for the point. Now, Zach Hyman for Edmonton is coming in at -148. So within a parlay and a round robin still has that value out there. Pasternak, I wasn't too impressed with in his last game out. He looked kind of slow out there versus Calgary. So I do think he's going to struggle. But we know for Boston, it's got to be Elias Lindholm. Elias Lindholm has been having success when he faces Edmonton, and I think he'll have success in this one again. He's +128 for the point, so you can look at him outside of this as well. I think it definitely would be a strong way to go. Now, the Seattle Kraken versus the Chicago Blackhawks, I do trust in the Kraken to get the points on the board. We're going to look at this one at Brandon Montour. I want to take a longer shot on Brandon Montour of Seattle. I think Brandon Montour is such an underrated playmaker out there on the ice. His point tonight coming in at +124. So, you can look at Jared McCann. You can look at a bunch of different other playmakers, but I think it is a night for Brandon Montour to have a big night. Now, if you want Chicago, I'm not going to put Chicago in, but Bertuzzi, I think, would be a strong play. The Predators and the Pittsburgh Penguins for those player points. This should be a lower scoring one. Yeah, everything is locked on FanDuel, so we will stay off of that game. The LA Kings, you got to look here at Kempe and Kopitar, but again, that should be a lower scoring game, so I want to stay off of it. I do think there is room to put in Braden Point here. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, again, I think you look at Braden Point for the power play, not within this parlay, but for the power play point tonight, Braden Point is coming in at +145. I think you look at him there for that. So that's point for the power play point at +145. But just for a straight point in this game, it's interesting because I think you've got a couple of different playmakers you can look at. I'm just having a look. I think probably Jordan Kyrou we can look at here for the St. Louis Blues. Kyrou's -118. And then I love Gunsel coming in. He's juicy, but I think it's worth putting Jake Gunsel. So for the Lightning, Jake Gunsel, he is coming in at -235. And then for the Blues, Kyrou, and he's coming in at -118. So we are building like a round robin, same game parlay or parlay if you want to put it all into a parlay. And the New Jersey Devils versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's the Devils you got to look at for those points out there, you guys. Jack Hughes, Jasper Back, Nico Hischier. Out of those playmakers, everyone is so juiced. They're 2-1 to your money. Timo Meier has been pretty quiet. Dougie Hamilton. Let's just leave this one off. Luke Hughes might be an interesting look. I do like Quinn Hughes for Vancouver as well. So Luke Hughes might be good. I'm going to stay off of it. Let's just do these 5 legs. So that's Ross Colton for Colorado, Zach Hyman for Edmonton, Elias Lindholm for Boston, Brandon Montour for Seattle, Jake Gunsel for the Lightning, and Kyrou for the Blues. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who did I miss there? I missed clicking one off on FanDuel because it's just giving me 5. We got Ross Colden, Zach Hyman, Elias Lindholm is who I missed. So let's just add in Elias Lindholm for the Boston Bruins for a point tonight. I do think he gets on the board. And then I will give you those odds on the round robin. Go over this one more time. Yeah, he's coming in at +1. Actually, the juice is moving. It's +126 now. It was +128. Okay, so we've got 6 legs. If you want to do a 6-leg parlay for these guys, $10 will come in and pay what? $381. So it's plus 3809. So $10 bet coming in at 381. And again, it's just for the point. So we have for those points here, Jordan Kyrou for the point of the St. Louis Blues, Jake Gunsel for the point of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Zach Hyman for the point for the Edmonton Oilers, Elias Lindholm for the point for the Boston Bruins, Ross Colden for the point for the Colorado Avalanche, and Brandon Montour for the point for the Seattle Kraken. So those are your playmakers for the points for the round robin. If you want to just go 2 by 13, $10 each one that you hit will come back at 124. So that's coming in at -105 for your 10 by 13 round robin. So that is where I'm going, you guys. I wish you all the best in all of your bets. Thank you for joining today, Lamont Cameron. I appreciate you. And Larry, let's go. Let's go Bolts. Oh, my Chargers. I'm so stressed about my Chargers playing tonight. I am going to be glued to my TV. So if you want to sweat out that game with me, join me on X because you know I will be dropping some comments, especially if we're losing. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Stay tuned to everything that is happening over on SportsGrid. The Madden Quickie will be dropping there shortly. And then there's a new show, Sports Millions, that is out. So make sure you check that out. Talking some higher and lowers on some of these players. It's a lot of fun, myself and Tom Vecchio. And then my Cup of Joe is going to be coming out here shortly. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice today. Drop in the comments, 1, where you're watching from. I love to hear it. 2, what you want for Christmas this year out of your sports team. So let's do what I want from Christmas out of my sports team. Like I would love goaltending to really shore up for the Calgary Flames. That's what I would love. I need Dan Vladar to start looking stronger out there. Dustin Wolf is looking strong, but they need to look at things out there on the road and Calgary to be able to get those road wins, and it would be a great thing. So let me know what you're wanting for your teams. And I want the Chargers to make it to the playoffs. Can the Chargers make the playoffs? They're in that wild card spot. Really, really, really important game tonight here with a divisional matchup in the Denver Broncos. Damn Sean Payton. Okay, you guys, all the best in all of your bets. We will see you back here tomorrow at noon Eastern. I might have to pre-record tomorrow's episode because I will be doing some work with SportsGrid during the same time. So if I'm not interacting with the comments, it's because I had to pre-record for tomorrow, but I promise it will be up for noon tomorrow. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. Hit some anytime goals.